It's Wednesday on Your View, our live audience show. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Morayo.
YK in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
Sorry, audience, I didn't greet you this morning. Good morning. Morayo was saying you people should look happy, but she had been advertising that if you are suicidal, come to the show. I don't know how the two cannot relate. Sorry. Meanwhile, you know, in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, we greet Eku, like when Macron
Eku anything.
Eku Macron.
Yes.
Eku Christmas. Now it's Eku impeachment.
Eku Saraki.
Eku impeachment, you know. Impeachment is the fashion.
Eku the camping. The camping. Eku or the camp.
Eku or the camping.
Eku or jumping jack.
How you doing, YK, though? How was the cleaning yesterday? Jumzo in the building. Jumzo and
they have just...
They shanked Obiajulu. They now carry themselves to your house.
I know.
No. I was upset on your behalf. I was upset on your behalf.
So how was the cleaning, Jumoke?
Well, I need to start to advertise my cleaning company. But we thank God. The joy of seeing somewhere and being overwhelmed and the relative satisfaction that you get when the job is done, you cannot quantify it. It cannot be bought with money. Okay, I'm very, very excited on your behalf.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I went into the room this morning and I didn't recognize
They cleaned
it.
you out, Abi. That's why they're excited on your behalf.
Well,
Continue.
Nima carried, I don't know.
She
She
carried all the umbrellas you have in the house.
Or what she carried. I said, Nima, is this your load?
YK, I told them that I needed pots and plates and kitchen
They
utensils.
actually saved all
you
those
out.
things for you.
Okay, so I'll drive down there maybe tomorrow or something.
No, they said they're coming again.
So cleaning out was a different thing. Now we now have 3 bags of gifts that we now to
What
share
did she
that
feed
one.
you guys?
I had couscous. I had there was lots of there was minced meat. There was curry chicken, and then
Okay, so in your house in a day like this, I can just
Yes.
eat couscous and curry chicken. And
So she
everything.
was having rice with cheese and minced meat, but I just had couscous with a bit of
All right now.
vegetables.
Okay now.
And then we
Okay.
had ice cream. There was dessert.
It's okay
In your
now.
house. How you doing, Obiajulu?
Rapper girl in the building.
Yes, so please celebrate
my
our rapper in
name
the building.
is TVC. Yo, I'm on TVC. Yo, your view is the main thing. Yo.
And they cannot leave you out.
Yo, you must blow this year. Yo, hey, we don't have finished.
I'm doing great.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And to our audience, hello. So today we have an amazing show today. First, we're going to have Indomie Independence Day Awards. We're going to have talk to somebody who's actually been a recipient of the awards. And later, we're going to have Larry Olushola in the building
Yo, yo, yo.
to help us out because he's launching this Dose of Dose, which we talked about last year, last week actually. And then we're going to show you how to join the movement on Dose of Dose because everybody needs help.
Yeah.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll breeze through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start very quickly with The Nation. I don't have Punch this morning. Saraki Ahmed returned to PDP as APC issues query. I have to read Senate President's quote. Says, the federal government appointed over 200 persons into juicy offices without allotting any slot to me or Dogara.
Wow.
If not for the love I have for Nigeria, we would have scattered everything. Then governor says, I think Imo State governor says, you are asking me how that will affect the APC, that's the campaign. That does not in any way affect the party negatively. It is allowed as they are going. Many others are coming. In fact, they're coming in their thousands. That's Governor of Korocha. Okay, moving on to Benue Assembly Complex shot. Buhari elected ECOWAS chairman and Shell NNPC in talks over $10 billion bunker contract. So should we talk about Saraki now, since it's the biggest news all over?
Yeah,
Everywhere.
And the way The Nation quoted him, because I read his personally signed statement and his Twitter page where he came out to say that the reason he really was leaving APC with his supporters was the alienation of himself in the party and the persecution that his supporters had, undergone in the last 3 years of him being in the party, and that there is a government inside the government of the APC,
Say
meaning
so
that we're being
empathetically.
ruled.
You say it so empathetically, Jumoke.
Yeah, that
Are you,
they're being-
are you empathetic towards his...
She's
It
telling
was
you
the-
what
let me
she
not put you on the
said.
spot.
Let me not put it, that actually
She's
doesn't,
telling you what
that
she
doesn't
said.
matter. No, because you know Jumoke.
And it's
We know
still-
Jumoke.
it's still early
There's a way
morning.
Jumoke will play
So she
something,
needs
you
to-
understand. So
The reason I'm empathetic is the way the nation puts it. That's why.
Hey, but they put his name, Senate President. So
yes, so
okay.
I'm then giving
The
it
other side.
exactly the way he gave it.
I'm sure they also
I
have...
think nation are being biased, so...
Don't assume nation is being biased.
I'm not
going
assuming that,
ahead.
though.
but the way they are putting it...
This is what the man said.
No, I've just told you what the man said.
Hey, in addition
There's a
to that,
government
he also
inside
said
the
this.
government.
In addition to that, so we can argue
He
it.
put a tweet. That was not inside the tweet that
Well,
he put.
this is what me, I read this in the Nation. Let the Nation now tell us how
Anyway,
they do it.
Saraki has left
We now choose the side
the
they want.
APC with his supporters.
Anyway.
And the reason I'm saying what he said, we saw what happened to him in the last 3 years with his CCT trial, regardless of who he may be as an individual, he held the position of the third most important
How he got
person.
there in the first place, that's very arguable. But let's move on to Daily Sun.
How did he get there in the first
Why
place?
we quit
Let's move
APC. EFCC grills Ekwe Madu as court frees Bafarawa. Ekwe Nife commends Buhari for approving 37 billion naira refund to Anambra. Wike commends Saraki Ahmed for joining PDP, and drama continues in Imo State. Who has that story? The drama that happened, they had the High Court judgment to stop the swearing in.
The High Court, they were about to swear in the new governor, Callistus, when...
The new deputy governor.
The new deputy governor, sorry, when there was a court order issued to them and they could not... So the governor now says, no, we are law abiding.
Yes, he said that.
That part I like, because the court had already ordered that the deputy governor should not be impeached in the first instance. So if they were law abiding, how come they impeached him?
Well,
And all the claims are that this is the second deputy governor impeached in the space of 3 years under Governor Okorocha.
Are you joking?
I'm not. Okay, what's
If you
happening?
offend him, they impeach you.
That's it.
If you don't support him, they impeach you. Echo impeachment.
let me take just one more story. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Same on the defection story. The Kwara State governor has come out to say that he's moving to PDP as well, that he's answering a call of some stakeholders in the state.
Yes.
Sokoto governor, there's a speculation that he's
Sambo
defecting today. So
Let's just quickly finish the defection. The ambassador of Nigeria to South Africa
Has resigned.
former governor of Niger State,
Deputy
came-
governor.
He has decamped also.
came into Nigeria, resigned quickly that I'm no longer the envoy to South Africa, and guess what? I'm moving straight from APC back to PDP.
PDP.
Eku, the campaign, no. All right, thank you. All right, that deserves a clap, please. That is just unbelievable. Okay, so let's all just take one. Unfortunately, we don't have time for any more story. That's all we can take. Please. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll have something slightly different from the norm. We're going to have a conversation with Precious Princess, actually, Esham. She was one of the recipients of the Indomie Independence Day Awards back in 2012. You need to hear her story. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So Duffel Primer Foods, the makers of Indomie noodles, notice the gap in not appreciating youngsters below the age of 15 who have done something amazing and heroic. Hence, they created Indomie Independence Day Awards. For the past 11 years, Indomie has rewarded 37 winners with ₦1 million scholarship each. This year is no different, as 3 more children will be awarded in October. In the coming weeks, on Your View, we'll be speaking to past winners to share their experiences. Today in the studio, we have with us one of the past winners of Indomie Independence Day Award, IIDA, Ms. Princess Esson, who won the award 2012. Watch this clip.
My name is Princess Esson. I was the 2012 winner for the Indomie Independence Day Awards. I never thought I was exceptional enough to be called a hero. More or less have my name on the Indomie's Hall of Fame until that fateful night. On the 26th of May 2012, at about 9:30 p.m., was when the fire started in my room. I was just 8 years old then and shared a room with my elder brother. My entire family had gone to bed and I was soundly asleep until I was woken up by loud voices. I heard my father's voice calling out to me and my brother to come out, that a fire had engulfed our house. That was when I noticed there was smoke everywhere and the fire spread to the room already. I woke my brother up and we rushed towards the window. We were so scared, not knowing what to do. When we peeped out the window, we saw our parents and neighbors urging us to jump down fast. At that point in time, smoke was already choking me and my brother. Francis was too scared to jump. I was too. But the fear of dying with my brother crossed my mind, and in a split second, I used my elbow to break the glass windows, grab my brother, and threw him out to the waiting hands. By that time, the fire was already burning my leg. I managed to jump out before it spread to other parts of my body. That night, I suffered a third-degree burn with severe bruises that will last a lifetime, but it is nothing compared to the joy of being alive and saving my brother. And here I am telling my story, courtesy Food Premier Foods, makers of Nigerians' #1 noodles, Indomie.
Wow. You were 8 years old. How old was your younger brother?
He was my elder brother actually, and he was 11.
Wow. Now, when I watched that video, I thought to myself, how come your parents didn't get you out before they got out themselves?
Well, they actually tried, but the smoke was too much and the fire actually pushed them back.
Wow. So it was in your bedroom?
Yeah.
They said you used your elbow to break the window. How did that happen? What exactly did you use?
I just used my hand.
Did you get something to cover your hand or something?
No, just the fear made me just
Wow.
do it.
There was no burglary proof?
No.
There was no burglary proof. So you now got your brother to the window and you pushed him out.
Yeah.
And there are people there waiting for him to catch him.
Yeah.
Since that experience and since being the winner for this award, how has that made you feel in the past few years?
Well, I've been feeling great, well, because the money they actually gave me was used to sponsor my education.
Oh, the #1,000,000 was used for education?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been feeling good.
But with your family and friends, what happened? Were they nervous with the burns you had? How was the healing process?
Well, it took time and it's still taking time to heal. I'm very sure to heal, but it was okay.
It's 6 years gone. So have you been able to wear dresses now, or you still have issues with the scars?
Well, sometimes I don't really like to wear gowns because then when I go outside, people start pitying me and I don't like it.
Right.
So I prefer wearing trousers.
So since Indomie had helped out in giving you a scholarship, what have you done so far with the education? I mean, where are you now and in the last 6 years?
I'm currently out of school. I just finished this year, July, and I hope my WAEC was okay. And it's been good.
You're here with your mom.
Yeah.
I know it's the hardest thing for a mother to be outside when her children are inside the burning fire. In the last 6 years, have you had that conversation with her? What she went through emotionally? What was going through her mind at that moment?
No, I haven't, because I don't want to do anything that will make her start thinking or cry or those kind of
You guys have not reflected on what happened?
No, we have actually. When we look back at it, I will be like, thank God.
Yes. You're going to give testimony?
Yeah, yeah.
What did you tell exactly?
Testimonies.
What exactly?
I just said, I thank God for saving my life, because it's really good.
But your brother didn't get any burns?
No, he did actually, but...
What kind of burns did he get?
Leg, head, and back.
Wow. How long was the healing?
But it took about 6 months.
Wow.
And that's when we left the hospital and we still had house.
Therapy?
Yeah, no. We had, we were being treated at home.
Okay. So you had to leave school?
Yeah, we had to leave
So
school.
walk me back to when you got that award. when they called your name? You were the winner on that. Was it third place or second place? Third place on that day. How did that day make you feel?
I felt very happy, and I was speechless.
Wow. So let me come to the audience, because I know that there are lots of young people out there doing great things, doing amazing things. Because Indomie has started this 11 years ago, and they're awarding young people who are not celebrated when they do exciting or heroic things like this. Is there anybody who knows anybody out there who deserves this award in the audience? Nobody yet. Okay, well, definitely we're going to get more people to call in. But I know the call-ups is going on right now. If you have anybody out there who you believe deserves this, you can actually go to the website. There's a website for Indomie that you can call, that you can go to register to get anybody who is interested in registering a young child for this Indomie Independence Day Award coming up in October. Now, let me ask you one last question. What motivated you that day? Because I really go back to that day. What motivated you to push your brother out the window?
Fear of losing my brother. I couldn't bear to lose any member of my family, so it was fear that actually motivated me.
Wow. How's your life been since that day? Did you become a hero in your neighborhood?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
A little.
What did people say to you?
They started calling me Indomie in school, and I felt really proud.
Wow, fantastic. All right, so as I said before, if you know any child that deserves recognition for any heroic act in the 3 categories, it's going to be, there is the social, bravery, and physical. Kindly have the parents of the guardian register that child through the awards website, www.heroesofnigeria.com. I think it will be closing very soon. So please kindly register that child. Up next now is going to be the Catalyst Takes the Couch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So depression can affect anyone. It does not discriminate based on gender, religion, social status, or geographic location. As we continue our conversation on depression, suicide, and mental health, the Catalyst is here again to listen and suggest some solutions. Welcome with us, Larry Olushola, to the show.
Great to have you back.
You can call into the show 070-806-68014. You could also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. For those of you that didn't watch last week we had the Catalyst here, and we had the conversation on depression and suicidal tendencies. And we had lots of questions coming in. So today we're not going to have too much back and forth. We just have people here who have questions, who have concerns, or family members who have issues and they need counseling. So he also came with 8 counselors, right?
Coaches.
8 coaches. Thank you so much, Larry, for being. They are here in the building. They're in the front row, and they'll be available to assist members of our audience with any emotional issues. But I know YK was saying that she got a text message.
Yes, a text from someone who watched the show on Thursday, and it really helped him. I asked him to watch today. I don't know if he managed to get here today, but I don't even know the person. He just sent me this text, and that he had been suicidal earlier on in the year, and talking to you. So I told him about your program and everything. So I'm hoping he's watching.
Right. I remember Larry is launching Dose
Dose
of
of
Dose,
Dose.
which he'll tell us about a bit later. But let's go straight to the audience. Do you have any questions on issues of mental health, depression? Let's take a few questions. Right to the point. Who's going first? Nobody wants to break the ice. Yes, go ahead.
So there's somebody there.
Go ahead, please.
I wanted us to take the case of someone in the
I'm Mrs. Benjamin.
Okay.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
But before then, I had a knowledge that there are different model of depression.
Okay.
But I'd like to mention the one that was postulated by White and Wards, 1981, that talk about psychodynamic theory of depression. It explains the situation whereby an individual is mourning out of grief caused by a real loss, such as death. And that particular time, the individual will
I'm sorry
have
about
this-
that. I'm sorry. I really want this. We have very little time.
Mariam, may
I
I
want to
just
focus
go-
on people
can
who
we
have
focus
issues.
on two issues?
Yes, hang in there, please.
One
Okay,
in the
okay.
newspaper
So
last week.
my question is-
I'll come back to
we'll
you.
come back to you, madam. Thank you. There was Tolu Lokpe, the first son of a palm sec in Osun State, who killed himself. A young man who was married, but he was having difficulty dealing with his mom's abduction and death, and then finances. His farm, went under. So, and there are many people in that situation today. What do we do if our family finances crumble? The second one would be the issues that drive young people to drugs. There's a codeine and all sorts of hard drugs, addiction epidemic that we have in Nigeria. So those two situations, the middle class adult who is finding problems with their finances and the young person who doesn't have anyone to listen to them and they're going into drug addiction.
All right, so, we've got a very limited amount of time, and so we have to maximize the time. You've identified the triggers. So one is, people do not know how to handle life issues, and they're failing.
Okay.
They're going into poverty. Secondly is finance issues. Money matters. I mean, the gentleman that called and said that he had been doing contracts and that the government hadn't paid him, he wants to kill his children and his wife. The third situation is relationship and marriage. Relationship and marriage issues. And another one is stress and emotions. So those four critical areas are critical triggers to unhappiness, sadness that leads to depression and ultimately suicide. So what we're doing, the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria, right? We have set up a platform that is called Coach Me that launches today and will coach anyone in those four critical areas for free.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
So all they need to do is follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you will get all the details of how you can log on to the platform. You can log on by your phone. You can log on your tablet or your laptop, and then you will get any of the 50 to 60 coaches, right, in those four critical areas. You want coaching for life and success. You want coaching for finance, career, and business. You want coaching for stress and emotions. You want coaching for relationships, sex,
And marriage.
and marriage, right? So we've identified that these are the issues.
Okay.
How do we ensure that people don't spiral from sadness, unfulfillment, unhappiness to depression and to suicide?
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Fantastic. Now, the other part of the young people, the adolescents,
Getting into
depression,
drugs.
getting into drugs. How do we...
So you see, there's a lot of dysfunction in homes.
Right.
There's a lot of dysfunctional parents. So I'll give you a classic, right? So I do some work with the American Embassy, and the American Embassy bring me to talk to fathers and daughters, right? And there was a girl that came into that program, right? She had run away from home for about 5 to 6 years. What happened? Her father is a pastor, right? Big church. She was raped by her pastor's PA
Jesus.
at age 14, 15. And they suppressed it. A few months after, they anointed the man pastor. And the girl ran away from home, and then she ran into drugs. She was running away from something. A lot of the youth are running away from something.
Fantastic.
And they don't have anywhere to run to. So we don't have a lot of therapists, a lot of life coaches, a lot of psychologists, a lot of psychiatrists on any portal or any
Let me
platform.
pause you for a second. I'll come to you, Virgil. Let me go back to the audience again, because this is really about you. It's not so much about too much conversation. I need to get people who need some coaching or some kind of word today. Let me get the question you wanted to have. Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes,
Madam.
thank you. I have two questions. One is, what help or what advice do we have for the victims of depression? Second, what are the techniques or tips we can give to those people living with depression? I mean, not the victim this time around, but those living with them. What techniques can we give to those ones to help them come out of that depression?
If you have a
Thank
friend, a
you.
teenager, so those kind of stuff, how do you identify and then support them?
I mean, there are various symptoms of depression. You know, they used to be passionate about something, they're no longer passionate about it. They have sleep disorders, they have eating disorders. They don't take care of how they look. They don't care about how they look. They don't want to get out of bed. They have cycles of helplessness, hopelessness, uncontrollable crying. and there are loads of symptoms. But you see, the critical thing is we all go through bouts of sadness and unhappiness. So it's not when you go through this that is the issue. It's when you go through it consistently, non-stop for 2 weeks.
Right.
That
Just 2
is,
weeks.
you are in a dark, gloomy, bad place.
Yes.
Consistently for 2 weeks. Then you start to talk about, ending your life. You start to talk about suicide. So there are loads of symptoms, right, that we as family and friends need to be looking out for.
Right.
Someone that used to be passionate about something that is no longer,
Interested.
he doesn't care anymore. He sees his phone ringing, and it's someone that the person loves, but the person doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Okay, let me come to one more question. Go ahead, please. The man in the white shirt.
My name is Sunday. Yeah. So my question is, how do you get yourself out of a situation whereby you lost someone, maybe a fiancé, for like 5 years? You are still dealing with the trauma. And then you have made all the efforts to get out of it. You've seen your doctor, you've taken all the possible drugs, but you are still finding it difficult to...
So I'm going to answer her second question and answer your question, right? In these climes, we don't recognize, the power of our emotions and how it can shut us down. And so someone goes through grief. That is a major trauma. You need an expert, a psychiatrist, a psychologist that works with you to move you from that dysfunctional state to a functional state. And then you need a coach to move you from a functional state to an optimal state.
Okay.
So you need an expert. You need help. It's just like if you had malaria or high blood pressure, or you had, a disease, you need a doctor. It's not only by medication.
Okay.
And that's the first thing. The second thing is we don't let people grieve.
Shut them down.
We shut them down. Oh, get over it.
Come out of there.
The body has its own natural way of allowing you to grieve. And the duration of her grief will be different from her duration of grief. The depth of her pain will be different from the depth of her pain. And so all of us, right, just as fingers are not equal, go through different things in different ways. And so we need someone that is schooled and trained to be able to help you deal with it.
Okay.
Because you've identified the issue. It can spiral from grief to depression and suicide, because they are the emotions at the lower end of the spectrum. Emotions operate on a spectrum, and those are the emotions at the lowest end of the spectrum, and it can turn into something deadly in just a moment. And so in answering her question, how can you address these issues? Number one is you need to go and get professional help. Psychiatrists, psychologists, life coaches on the spectrum from dysfunction to function to optimal. The second thing is we have launched the Boost Your Dose of Dose, which is the body's natural way of dealing with sadness and unhappiness. But a lot of people don't know. There are certain foods that you shouldn't eat. There are certain foods that you should eat. There are certain supplements that you should have in your body. There are certain, chemicals that you should have in the right dose. And so over the next 37 days, right, we're going to be sharing those tips. We started today, right? Today is, you must eat a good amount of foods that have foods like chicken, fish, avocado, and, foods that are, big in tyrosine.
Okay.
And so we're sharing that tip today. Tomorrow will be another tip. There are things that we do off and on, but if we consistently do them over a period of over 30 days, and we continue with it, right, we will overcome the symptoms, we would overcome the programs and the patterns that lead to depression and suicide.
So I'm a bit worried that a lot of people are becoming aware that they have problems, but then they don't have access to these therapists, coaches, and all of that. It's quite expensive. I know you're doing this for free, but I'm sure that if I want to consult you, I have to pay. And not everybody can afford to pay. So shouldn't you be like liaising with the government to find a way to maybe like a hospital where you have all these professionals come in and they are paid to offer services to the people who cannot ordinarily afford it?
All right, so on the backdrop of this is the next phase of what we're doing, which is setting up an NGO called the Behavioral Health Institute. The Behavioral Health Institute is going to create an ecosystem of psychiatrists, occupational therapists, psychologists on a platform, right, that people can come to. Just like Coach Me, people will be able to come to that platform and engage the services of a psychiatrist, psychologist, or occupational therapist. For the first few sessions, it will be free, right? If your case is clinical, if your case is advanced, then you need to be checked into a private or a government hospital. Don't forget, we would have identified the people that provide the various services, and we will create an ecosystem. So at the tip of our fingers, we know who to send you to, we know who to refer you to, and there's already a digital system that you can come on and you can get help.
Okay, let me come to the audience again. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Excellent morning.
Excellent morning.
I suffered depression for over 2 years.
Okay.
And for me, I tend to cover it up with activities.
Okay.
I watch football, talk football. I can decide to talk football. For me not to be alone, I can decide to be talking football for a whole day.
Right.
And I discovered, because I discovered when I started reading, I discovered one of the ways people cover up depression is with activities. We tend to cover up with activities and things around us. My question is, doing all this while, I was looking for help. I didn't see one. How can we get access? You have been talking about counselors, coaches. We only see them on Facebook or online. We don't know where the office is or anything, and I can't just meet somebody on Facebook and start telling him personal things. How do we get access to these people?
I think that's what Larry is trying to create now, because obviously there is no organization, there's no platform for these coaches to function. So that's what we're trying to now do, to get everybody within an organization and make them accessible. Let me come to Waike, then I'll take a few more questions. That's Waike.
I wanted to ask, because I know that suicide is illegal. And if they catch you
In Nigeria.
if you don't in Nigeria, and if you don't die, they will jail you, or they will take you to court. But we all know that a person that is committing suicide cannot be normal, because you don't really want to take your own life if you are normal.
Yeah.
So how can we change that narrative? How can, because I know the one that jumped into the lagoon, but the lagoon was knee deep.
It was too shallow.
It was too shallow. She didn't die. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. She's the one that's making, it's not a funny thing. She's now in detention. She obviously has depression.
She's begging them.
All right. So let me address that. You know, when someone kills someone and you are in court, you know, you can prove that the person was insane. Yeah. And if you can prove by law that the person is not okay, right, you can get out of it.
Yeah.
The law has recognized that someone that is insane needs help.
Right.
The law needs to recognize that someone that is depressed, right, or suicidal needs help. He's not a criminal.
There's a difference.
Let me take.
He's not okay. He needs help.
Let me take one more question before you go.
Sorry, one more. Just like someone that has malaria
Needs a doctor.
needs help. We need to recognize, right, in our laws, right, that it's an illness.
Right.
And the brain is very delicate.
Hey.
It's, in
Let
fact,
me
the
just
most
take
delicate
this
of
one
the
quick question
human body.
before we go on a quick break. Yes, sir. Go ahead, very quickly.
Yeah. Concerning depression, I must be sincere that religion has been the most cases of what people go through in depression, because these are the things that make them confused. And once somebody's soul is out of the spirit, it's only God that can bring them back. So these pastors should be careful with what they preach. They are the ones that make them go to sin. And then they bring them to confusion at the end of the day. They won't be able to have peace. So these are the things that make them
Thank you
confused.
very much. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back,
love that
we'll take more
statement.
questions. Stay with us. We'll be right
I've
back.
been saying it since.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. I know there's something called postmortem depression because
Yes,
we read in the papers yesterday. Postpartum, actually, where a mother actually threw her baby into the well. And we're not sure exactly what happened, but that's another depression that we don't recognize around here in this climate. Could you talk a bit on that?
Wow. You know, there are many, many, many forms and many, many triggers of depression. You know, I mean, you women will best be able to explain it.
Hormones.
When your hormones are raging.
Very
I mean,
true.
I cannot explain period pain.
We cannot explain.
You have no
I
idea.
cannot explain labor pain.
Mm.
But what happens is the brain of a woman changes from conception, pregnancy, to after delivery and while she's nursing the child. So what usually happens is, you know, that whole process of change, some people can handle it, some people cannot. Just as we mentioned last week that different people are groomed differently.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen to all women, but some women can't handle it.
It's a lot of emotion.
Okay, Larry, what
we
I'm
read,
picking from, sorry, Robert Julie, what I've picked in terms of your responses to all the issues and questions is like therapy is really personal. So it seems like we're not, I'm not getting, oh, what can I do for myself, except I come to speak to you one-on-one. I know that it is personal, but there'll be some general things that all of us have. For instance, finances is general in Nigeria. So what should a person do, like first aid, before they do then get therapy?
All right, so, you know, I mean, how do I give first aid on money? But to tell you, you know, to not live your life contending with other people and competing with other people. I mean, we all live, I mean, not we. Most people live for the gram today.
Yeah.
They just showed, you know, the celebrities yesterday on TV, on E! Channel, that Kim Kardashian, she's giving $780,000 to post and endorse a brand. Just one post, $780,000. So if a designer brings a bag that is worth $100,000 for Kim to carry and post, she earns $700,000 from that post. So the girl that doesn't have money wants to carry that bag.
For what now?
Because she's believing that that's the life that Kim is living. She doesn't know that Kim is being paid to wear the clothes she wears, to live the lifestyle she wears, to live in the house she lives. So people are not content.
Right.
Figures are not equal.
So this morning in the Punch, we had this article, 2 articles actually, of a father sleeping with the daughter. One of them had already gotten a child, and she had to report the case to the police. The other one, they were still having. He was actually raping her when he was reported. So the case is in the police station at the moment. But the thing for me is we've had these incests. So I don't know what happens in the case of the fathers, where they now begin to see their children as people they can have sexual relations.
So how do
you handle such issues?
The first thing is to recognize that the man is not okay.
Yes, so.
He's mad.
So there are 2 things, right? He must have seen it somewhere. He must have learned it somewhere. So let's call this abuse.
Yes.
Right? He must have experienced it. So maybe his father, he observed his uncle, he observed somebody doing it when he was young. And so that person was assaulting someone else, but he was an observer. And he was unconsciously learning it. He didn't realize that he was being programmed.
Right.
At some point in his adult years, he would express that thing that he has learned. Right? And so we need to understand that that man that is abusing or sexually attracted to his daughter, okay.
Okay, so he needs help.
He needs help.
Okay.
Okay,
but you see, I have a question from the audience because last week you told us about identifying what we have control over.
Yeah.
So that kind of person, his wife, what does she have control over? How can she help the child?
His wife had died.
Okay, his wife had
The
died.
second one, the wife was alive.
Once the wife died was when he started sleeping with
Yeah, the
the
second-
child.
the second
Sometimes
one, the
the
wife
wife
was
are
alive,
either
the second
divorced or
story.
separated or
Yeah.
somewhere.
They were living
And the
together.
woman is in denial. So
Yes.
these are situations where I would like you to do. But let me just take this question first before you address that issue. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Ernest. My question is, how do you overcome something that, like, my experience is something was taken away from me,
Okay.
from my home. My mom went into this microfinance something with somebody, and the lady didn't pay on time. And when I was at home, my mom said I should close the door. I shouldn't let them in. So when they came, I opened the door for them, and they took everything within my eyes. And when I woke up, the next day I couldn't wake up because the whole thing was on me because I let them in. And up till now, one of the properties is still with them. They refuse to give me. And every time I look at the door,
You feel blame.
shut down. I'm always remembering the incident. So how do you overcome that kind of fear?
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So he blames himself for opening the door that day.
Yeah, so, there's a therapy that we call timeline travel. And, is one of the interventions that we deploy in therapy. So we take him back to the event, help him learn and acquire the wisdom in that event because that event happened for a reason. And then we'll help him in the event at the age that he was, see it from a different perspective, relate with it differently before we bring him back. By the time we bring him back to today, he would have a different shift completely.
Fantastic.
Because the truth of the matter, right, is he did not borrow the money, number one. Number two is they will break down the door. So whether you open the door or you don't open the door, they will break down the door. Because they didn't come without legal backing.
Right.
So whether you stand in front of the door or not, that door is coming down. Number two is you were not the one that went to borrow the money. Your mom borrowed the money. She should take the responsibility for that, not you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you back into that event just before the event happened, right? And then we will open you up to different perspectives. And you will see things from different perspectives. And by the time we bring you back,
So I
Let me
think
take this call.
he is one of the people that will benefit
from the
from.
coaching.
Yeah,
All
from today.
Let me
from the
take this
coaches
call
today,
very
yeah.
quickly from Femi in Abuja. Femi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm
Please,
here.
go ahead very quickly. Go ahead, please. You're live,
Hello.
Femi. You're live. Go ahead.
Good
Hear you.
morning.
Morning.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
We lost our junior brother in 1970. Good morning. Larry, this question, I want to...
We lost it. Oh, I wish I had that question. Yes, why you're going to say
there's
something?
this important tweet. It says, "Can someone truly get over depression?" I think he's been tweeting to you, so he's asking, can someone truly get over depression?
Yeah.
One more.
Most definitely.
Okay.
You can fully get over depression.
Okay, I am Mox Josh says, how do I overcome depression of losing my parents? And as the only child, none of my relatives are ready to adopt me, and I'm alone now.
We have to separate depression from grief, sadness, and unhappiness. It is very, very important that we don't paint it all with the same brush. I have described the symptoms of depression. They're sometimes similar with the symptoms of grief.
Okay.
Right? And when someone doesn't grieve well, when people are not allowed to grieve, right, then they mix it up. So we need to be very, very careful. You can be sad. You can be unhappy. You can feel helpless in a situation. You can feel financially challenged. You can have an issue with not being accepted. So you've lost your mom. Nobody wants to take you in. You can have those issues, but does that mean you're depressed? No. For you to say you're depressed, you need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist that will attest and test you
Right.
and attest to the fact that
You're actually
you are depressed. Just like you can't say you have malaria.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why a lot of people self-medicate, and they still have issues. So we need to get it into our system.
Unfortunately, we have to round up. But Larry, just tell us exactly what to do to join the Dose of Dose. Again, just for those who can follow at Larry Olushola. Right?
Yeah, so for you to get a tip a day, and for you to naturally know what to do to overcome sadness, unhappiness, depression, just follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And LinkedIn at Lanre Olushola. Olushola, no H.
Okay.
Lanre Olushola. And you will get, all the information
So today's
that you
tip
need.
is eat chicken, fish, avocado.
Avocado,
So if you know your job, because
almonds.
it's almonds, so they will tell you what to do today. So we're going to follow him all through. And as you're getting better, hopefully. So the idea is that once you do this consistently for 30 days, hopefully to take you to a new person. Unfortunately, that's all we can take, such a short time. Indomie actually left some gifts for our audience, so thanks to Indomie. Anytime they come here, they always give them gifts. And there are coaches here to talk to our guests right after the show. You can have a conversation. For those of you that need therapy, that need coach, there are people here to help you with that. That's all we can take. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
I need to talk to Larry.